Hello, 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 everybody. I hope that wasn't too loud. I think I had my face too close to the microphone right there. Let me turn this fan down a little bit. How's everybody doing today? Hey, Dee Dee, how you doing? Destiny, good to see you. I'll tell you what, guys. Whoever's been praying for me to get rest and sleep, it is working. Because I have been getting so much sleep and so much good rest and so many awesome dreams that I mean, almost the type of dreams that I want to share, but I don't want people to think that I think that they're special in any way, that my dreams are special in any way, because they're not. I don't think it's just destiny has arrived. That's right. That's right. That's outstanding. I like that. And so, a couple of things have kind of like happened. Um, you know how like when you become a truther, sometimes the people that are in your life get kind of worn out with the truth narrative. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to learn. They reject it. It's even true. Um, and it could put a strain on your friendships, right? And the only way to really navigate and to the only way to navigate it is to like bite your tongue, right? And let people just have their beliefs even when they're wrong. Let them walk away wrong knowing that it could mean their soul, right? And it's hard to do that, right? It's hard to let somebody just believe the wrong thing and just walk away, right? Especially if you care about them, right? And so there was this you know when I got here in 2012, I met a lady. She was pretty cool. Not a romantic interest, but just a friend, And I don't know. We've been friends probably now like 12 years, right? And I've seen this lady like 3 times a week for like the last decade, right? And these last 6 months, right, 7 months, I've really been putting a lot of work into the channel nonstop. Um, I think I'd only seen her like 2 or 3 times in the last 6 months or 7 months, 8 months, something like that. And she used to come by like drop off groceries for me or whatever. She was just so nice. She was always doing something nice for me. And it would go both ways. I mean, like I would do nice things for her in a different way, you know. But it's just weird how it just ended. It disappeared, right? And a lot had to do with people grow apart, I guess, man. But it's like, wow, that kind of sucks because that's probably the most stable person I had in my life. And but she texted me today asking if I needed anything from the store, which was like it just felt like normal, natural, right back in where we left off. And I was like, yeah, I could use a couple of Tums or whatever, which I haven't eaten Tums in a long time because my stomach has been in good shape for a while, but I'm starting to have anyway. So she was a little worried about me or whatever, and so it's just good to like maybe have that friendship kind of coming back again. But I worry about like if I can't be completely open with what is going on out there, I don't want at any point to have to pretend like something is real that's not real, just to get by, You know what? Someone told me that, Michigander, and I think I'm gonna do that, but how much of that should I do? That's the problem. I mean, see, like in the city, we measure stuff, man. Like, I don't know out there. What do you guys do? Like a swig? Take a swig of apple cider vinegar, and probably I don't know. Yeah, I do. I need to try it because um the stomach problems I had last year, man. There's no way if I had to go back to feeling like that again. I don't know if I could make it, man. And I'm surprised I even let it get that bad. Like now, just barely feeling it come back, makes me wonder how did I ever make it through? Like I have no idea. But when you're in the moment, you don't think that it's that big a deal. You're just like, I'm a man, dude. I don't need no help from nobody. I'll be all right. And it makes you think back to like when you're a kid, right? And your dad, like, is like goes to work all hungover and beat up, and he just did it. He never complained about nothing. If you ever heard a peep from your dad complaining, that was a rare day. The only time I've ever heard my dad complain in pain in my whole life was when he had kidney stones, and man, he was on the floor crawling around crying. Like I had never seen my dad like that. I mean, in a way, it was. I mean, I hate to say this, but it was funny in a way, even though this poor guy was going through so much pain, right? It was funny only because we haven't seen him like that, like ever, crying and begging and all this stuff, right? I mean, it was just too much, not funny, but like too much information to it was an overload. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do some of that. Yeah, no, I don't have a kidney infection. I have stomach acid that it's like renal 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 tubal acidosis, meaning I have like stomach acid that goes to the kidneys, and then when the kidneys take the base chemicals out of my blood, then I get metabolic acidosis, which is like over acidic blood, and it is painful, man. I can't even walk from the couch to the door, and so I don't know how I made it through that. But yes, yeah. My dad got kidney stones, and it changed his whole demeanor, and so it is what it is. And so, man, there's a lot of drama going on in this truth community. I've been seeing these videos and streams being made about this person calling that person this and this person calling that person that, and man, it's getting pretty. There's a lot of backbiters, man, up in this situation, man. And I here's the thing, right? Like, I do want to go over there and offer my support, and if something's funny, I want to laugh at it, and say, okay, good job, guys, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm always here for them, but I have a feeling that they've already made their choice as far as who they're going to follow and spiritually. And that if I go over there and get involved, even to say hi, I'm just going to get myself in the middle of something. And it makes me worried, because I do look at people for their positive skills and their positive behavior, and I just want to be nice. Don't you ever just want to go over and say, hey, look, this person is not really necessarily a good person, but this guy's got talent or whatever, and he seems he's entertaining, and I really hope that he finds God, and he would be good for God. And but it seems like you get involved with something like that, right, where you're kind of sticking up for somebody that's not there yet, and then it puts you out there because if that person, doesn't act straight, then you end up looking like a fool. But see, I don't care how it makes me look, but I don't want it to affect like how I'm able to affect other people in the future. But I seriously do like care for a lot of these people in this truth community, if you want to say that, quote unquote truth community, because there's not very many truthers that I would say are even telling the whole truth about everything. I mean, we all have our niche, I guess, that we can explain, right? And understand. But I'd like to have some videos with these guys that like to trash each other all day and just talk flat earth or talk like, about the Bible, or have like edifying conversations with these people that I know are talented people. Now they're not going to get on mainstream TV with these topics, right? They're not going to get their careers, the way they wanted them. They're going to be YouTube people at best, right? But I mean, that's just reality, right? Like, I mean, we got to start accepting reality. Is if people don't accept Jesus soon, right? It's going to be bad for people, man. You were at the hospital for 11 days, intensive care unit. You got no shot. They didn't even take. Wow, for the pain. That's horrible. They gave my dad like Dilaudid, like they were giving him Dilaudid. Oh yeah, I don't trust anybody to jet. No, 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 Dee Dee. No way, man. Am I ever gonna? You can forget that. Like I'm willing to die on that hill, right? If they said, Steven, we're gonna take away all of your stuff and take away everything from you and kill you, um, I would accept that deal before I took anything, because like Paul said, right? To live is Christ and to die is to gain. I can't wait to die. Are they kidding me? Like, I hope they freaking come today. Sorry about my language, but that's the way I feel. Better than them messing with me. I mean, I think that there's like food, certain food, and certain like chemicals that we ingest, like in sodas or whatever, that cause these things, these kidney stones and gallstones and all that, and they know it. They know that we're gonna have this pain, and because I'll tell you this, right? Like, and I know that this is not any better, right? But I've had like very um disciplined diets, right? Where I'm, eating just oatmeal and Atkins shakes and water, right? And maybe some vitamins, right? And so while it's not great food to live on, right, it's consistently the same, right? And when you change even a little bit on a diet that strict, right, you can tell what that new food is doing to your body. Like you can feel the difference between eating different foods. It's very noticeable. So I ate pancakes and bacon one day, and my body felt like it was full of grease. Like my body felt full. I mean, it didn't feel bad, but it felt weird, right? And there are people that eat bacon all day long or that kind of food all day long, and they don't notice a change because it's part of their normal diet. Well, if you're used to eating a very like fatty, greasy, diet, you're not going to notice that this is what it's doing to your body. You won't. It's not going to be that much of a change to document, right? So you start looking at like, man, do they know that this stuff is going to be addictive food number one, right? And then and then what it's going to do to you, right? It's just pretty scary, to be honest. And then I had Let's see, I went like a long time, and then I had a pizza, right? And that was slightly better than the pancakes and bacon, right? But the cheese itself, like dairy, I don't tolerate dairy well now that I don't eat dairy, and so makes you wonder what how much damage the milk does to you. I don't know. I know that if you drink it regularly, it's good for you, to be honest. But if you're not used to tolerating it at all, right, your body has to get used to, has to get used to that. You know what I mean? And Chris said something the other day, right? He said, what did he say? He said humans are the only ones that drink the species milk from another species. But then he said that dogs did too. So did dogs and cats, and so I mean, a lot of different animals do that, I guess. But it is kind of weird to think about, though, huh? Like, can you imagine, like, I don't know, like a lion trying to get human, like, or some kind of other animal trying to, I don't know, like, but I mean, in reality, if there are wild animals out there, they would try to use us as food if they could get us. I'm sure, right? If they were hungry. It's weird to kind of like think about how the world works in that way because we're so used to technology and people living in like wearing suits and ties, right? And like going, you know what I mean? Like we live in right a line, but we live in uh like communities, right, that are like sophisticated, right? And but in reality we're just animals, right? Just running around, right? Like if we didn't have all this infrastructure, right, to live like this, where we're dependent on each other and we spend money in the community. If we were just back to like, we had to find our daily food, or whatever. It would be more common to be food for other animals, right? Like it wouldn't be so much of a stretch, to think about that. Um, yeah, but can't sue people in New Zealand. I could make a complaint though. But at this rate, that feels like peeing in the wind. Yeah, well, it's a lot of red tape, right? It's a lot of red tape. Man. So why are they saying that people are dying, right? Is it she was telling you that I am sort of person that is the reason people are dying because I get to their wow. Hey, you know what? Don't worry about all that. I mean, I think it's just absolutely crazy that they can even. How do they feel like they could um, ask us to to take these to take this medicine as if there's no downside to it at all? Like there's zero downside. You have to take it. You're you're insensitive and intolerant if you don't. I mean, where did they come up with this crap? You know? Where did they come up with this crap where they can ask us to do this stuff? What's going on, Clutch? I'm glad that you're here. I don't care that you're late. I'm just glad that you show up. And I think that is great. But yeah, I mean, we're part of the last we're the last true like generation of fully autonomous human beings. And what I mean by that is that they're going to be able to tell us what we can have in our body. They're going to be able to put some kind of chip or technology in our brain if they want, and have an interface with our brain with a back door and everything. Oh man, that is so scary. Do you know the amount of trust with ethics and oh my God. Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine, guys? Um, can you imagine being, you're say the next generation, right? Let's say we were off by one generation as far as end times, right? And there's it could still get worse or whatever. And this next generation, where it will be like the days of Noah, right? Where people will, instead of getting an earring, right, they'll go get a wolf ear because they can alter their DNA, or they'll, you know what I mean, like get a robot arm, uh, a robot leg as a style, not as in like replacing, like you're quadriplegic, which it would be helpful for that, right? To have for limbs that are mechanical. That'd be awesome. But they'll use that guise, right? And people will do it for fun, for to to use as some kind of fashion statement or style, you know. And these kids are going to be, I mean, just deformed, man. I mean, look at how, like, look where tattooing is, right? And I know tattooing has been out for like thousands of years, right? And so, like, probably since the beginning of time, people were tattooing, right? But um, look how many people are getting tattoos on their face and neck, and they don't care, right? And earrings. I mean, people have their ears full of earrings. Well, I mean, now it's gauges. People have gauges in their ear, like so big that it's crazy, right? They got a chain through it, right? And so, like, like, what are they getting these kids, right? That are already to their, okay, now you got to. It's not even really like, you know how an iPhone is a device, right? Where you pay for the device. Well, a chip interface in your brain is just like exactly that. You're gonna interface with the internet. The chip won't really change that much over time, except for processing speed, right? And they're gonna have these things in your brain, and if you don't have it, you get left behind. This is insane, man. Do you? I mean, God, I'm like, don't let this happen. Like, don't let them do this to us. Like, when the sin reaches high heaven, let's just get the heck out of here, you know? And I hope Jesus comes back on a cloud and just baptizes this place in fire, you know? I don't even care if I get hit with the fire, you know? I don't. I just don't want pain anymore for people on this earth, you know? To the point where I don't care if I'm a casualty in this whole thing, you know? It wouldn't bother me at all. And so, oh yeah, Aussie people are strong, man. They're. I have a whole new respect for them, especially after seeing what some of the stuff Hannah sent me for the what's going on over there, and then like doing my own research and looking at stuff that's over there. There's some pretty tough Australians. I didn't know this, but they're like known for being tough, right? I didn't know that. I had, I just thought they're regular people, right? Like us. But I mean, these people will, like, fight an animal, and then eat it, like 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 go out and fight a kangaroo, and then have kangaroo burgers later, But I don't know, man. I'm just joking. But man, I don't know, man. I'm just she said damn straight. So like another Christmas is going to come by. I know that's pagan holiday, right? I know that we don't celebrate that stuff anymore, but as a culture and a community, we do, right? I mean, even if we go through the motions, we obviously know what that is, what Christmas is now, and it's hard, right? Because I used to think it was God's birthday, right? It's Jesus' birthday, and to find out that this whole world is so infiltrated at every level. I heard New Zealanders are tough too now. Now this is absolutely new for me, because if you asked me how many times I think of a New Zealander, right? I would have to say I think about them almost as not like I think of Canadians less than New Zealanders, but like I almost don't think of New Zealanders at all, because there's no like jokes about people from New Zealand, or like there's no stereotypes really. I mean, Canada's starting to get to where there's some stereotypes, right? But like it used to be, there was nothing funny about Canada, or New Zealand, or even Australia, except for they talk funny. But then they would say we talk funny. Canadian, right? Well, no, this guy, right? He was Canadian in my high school, right? And he's like, because in his country, right, they talk crap about Americans being all arrogant and horrible, and right? And so he came up to me and he goes, what do you guys think of Canadians? And what do you think of us? And I was like, oh man, like we don't, dude. Like we don't even think about you at all. Like not. I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, but like, you know what I mean? Like I can't tell you like the last time I thought about a Canadian, except if they were a pain in my ass, like on purpose, right? But that's just anybody, right? Like just in general, thinking about a Canadian just for being Canadian, no. But I'll tell you what, I've got a lot of nice Canadian friends now, so I'll say that I just consider you all just like Americans, except you live in the cold. I mean, it's really, you don't live that far from us, It's like 5 or 10 miles past the border. They're like cold Americans. They're like they're like they're like Americans that like to shovel snow or something. I don't know. Oklahoma. See, what's his name? Chris lives in Oklahoma, I think. Yeah, right, Clutch. You guys are pretty much like Americans, right? I mean, is there anything funny about a Canadian? Like, if you're gonna tell a joke, except for like, out in the beat, eh? What are you doing, eh? I mean, but that gets old. I mean, that's not really that funny, right? But like, you don't say like, oh yeah, them Canadians, man, they run fast, or like you never think about that. Even though Brian Johnson, right, did win the Olympic gold back in 1988. He beat Carl Lewis, but he got busted for drugs. So Ben Johnson. Yes, yes, yes. How you doing, Yaswell Soaring? Oh yeah, yeah, hockey, right. All you got to do if you want to get Canadians to leave you alone, you just got to yell "face off" and throw a puck. and then but you got to referee. Like you can't just leave people to play hockey. You have to referee that. Like you have to give people penalties, man, or then it gets out of control. Drink, fight, and play hockey. You guys are just regular white people, man. That's all you are. Oh my God. Always blessed, one day at a time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every day is a daily reprieve, right? Like we wake up tomorrow and it's got its own problems, It's got its own problems. The people have taught me a lot. This place is so small, though. And oh yeah, New Zealand. Well, see, like if you're on an island like that, right? and you are confined to a small area, you really do learn a lot about people, right? Because there's nowhere to go. You have to get along, right? Like, and and I don't know like exactly how small it is, but it looks small enough to where if you did something crazy, it would last. Like the rumor would be out there for a while, right? The news. Like if you did something real crazy, like you would be known for that. So you got to be careful not to form a relation, like a reputation. Yeah, nature and wildlife. Do you guys have kangaroos out there? Is it like Australia but different? Is that like what are we saying about New Zealand? Is there any kind of like cool bears or anything like that? Like polar bears or something cool like that or penguins? Hey, I've seen a couple of videos, man, about like people thinking that penguins don't even exist, man. And so I would be interested in that. Like I'd be interested in knowing if, because they show us these penguins, right? But if you think about it, right, it's a bird that cannot fly. It can barely walk, and it swims pretty good, right? But wouldn't you think that if it had any natural predators that you'd be able to catch a penguin pretty easy, like a sloth, right? Like a sloth that moves all slow. Like how could that survive, man? Like how? I mean, unless God made other animals, right? Not want that animal to eat for food. That's interesting to me. Because you have to think about like where do I sit or stand in the food chain, right? Like right, right. Well, I mean, obviously, Dev. I mean, like I believe they exist for sure, right? But I've never seen one, so it gets you thinking, right? Same way a squirrel does. Like I have a chicken hawk that's taking them out right and left, but still running around. Right, right, right. Because there's way more squirrels than chicken hawks. So no matter how much that chicken hawk hunted, they can never wipe out all the squirrels. But if they were ever able to, right, then they would wipe themselves out as a species if they knock out their food source. And so that's the only thing I can see humans like really being in danger of doing. Although we can adapt and eat things that are just, you know, horrible, right? Like insects or entrails of animals, right? But that's when, like family recipes, right? Like people are the most creative with their culinary skills is when they have to cook something gross on an animal, right? Like, you know, can you imagine the first person that ever was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do chitlins," like the first person to ever make those? Like, did they think, "Oh, I want to make, you know, do these intestines or whatever and put hot sauce on them?" I mean, who thinks of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, you have to be desperate, right? Like, we have to eat something, or like, the first person to do stuffing, right? Like, why would you put breadcrumb in a turkey? You know what I mean? It's like you're putting breadcrumb in the turkey's butt or whatever. That doesn't sound appealing to me. Like, and I know that that's a little immature to say it that way, right? But who is the first person to try this stuff? Like to think, this is a good idea. Let's put breadcrumb and celery and stuff in here, and we'll see what happens, right? Pork skin and drop in it. Yeah, who thought of that? Who ever thought about dropping a pork skin, right, into grease batter? And yeah, but they're so good, right? I mean, I couldn't eat a whole bag of them like I could when I was a kid, right? But um, they are tasty. That's right. That's right. Because there used to be a respect, right, for like if you had to kill an animal for subsistence, right? Like how Michigander talks, right? Like if you kill an animal for sustenance, right? You fear and respect that animal and honor its sacrifice for you, right? And I think that's why, there was all these biblical laws about, like, if you find meat or encounter meat that's already dead, you're not supposed to eat it. Like, I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not sure, right? But I think it's like you had to actually see the animal alive and kill it to eat it, right? And the important part of that is that you could see the sacrifice that that animal had to make for you. But when you just go to the store and just buy meat, people just think of meat like, oh, that's just stuff in the store that you got to get. They don't make the connection that that is a living, breathing, sentient creature, right? That died for you to have, nourishment. So when you have, like, two pieces left over on your plate, instead of, throwing it out, you would think twice about that. You'd be like, oh no, I'm going to eat this. That animal had to die. That's right. The Lord made no waste. The Lord made everything good, right? When God was finished creating the heavens and the earth and everything in it, right? He took a day to rest, not because he was tired, God doesn't get tired. He took a day of rest because he was finished and because it was good. And if people didn't let hell in here and lying and deceit and all this other crap, this would be a paradise, a straight up paradise. And as long as we can get to that tree of life, right, we would live forever. We would be perfectly restored, and our bodies would be healthy. And you know what I mean? And so while I'm disappointed in the fall, right? Of course, right? But who's to say that I would have been able to not fall, right? Acts 15:29. Don't eat strangled meat that's been sacrificed to idols. Don't drink the blood and stay sexually pure is the whole law. Yeah. Well, you don't want to drink the blood. I mean, that the life is in the blood, right? So, like, there's a big deal about that. But did you know that there are people in, like, I want to say, like, Thailand or um uh places like that where they drink rattlesnake blood, right? Like in a shot glass. Like they'll drink the snake's blood in a shot glass. Oh my God, that is so satanic, man, isn't it? It's like accepting the lifeblood of a serpent into your life, man. That's horrible, isn't it? Like, but people do it, and people allow these demons and these creatures in their body, man. These disembodied Nephilim spirits, right? Do you think sometimes, like, and especially in Hollywood, when people are doing all these rituals, right, that, like, these Nephilim just take over a human body or something, And these are our famous people, right? Like, it's probably why they're weird or eccentric or whatever. Because when is the last time you ever heard about, like, a celebrity that just, like, lives in Ohio and does work at a public theater or whatever, and they talk about their couple movies they were in the 80s or something like that, making money off their name. They used to be famous, right? You never see interaction like that in the public, so it tells me that they're all related and all in on it, right? Because you can't get a platform in this in this country unless you're approved by them, right? And so, like, when there's truth narratives that are out there, right, that are catching steam, right? Then they need people to mimic those people, and then at the very last minute, flip on people. Well, I mean, yeah, if people can't handle yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Well, I love that you guys get along so well, you know. I love that you guys get along so well and you guys talk to each other. I've been kind of worried about Faith, to be honest. Like, especially since today I haven't seen her 2 times, right? And I did leave a message with her, but I normally I don't contact her this much, and so I don't want to overdo it because I was just I don't want her to be upset with me, and I'm available to anybody that needs me to talk or whatever, but she seemed pretty rattled, and I felt so bad for that. When it was just everything was meant to be a compliment from the start, I don't know. So I don't even know what to even do about that. Like, she says she's fine, so I'm just gonna accept that. Um, for it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay on you no greater burden than those requirements. 1529, that you abstain from what has been sacrificed to idols and from blood. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Can somebody with a wrench get rid of that guy? Man, that's crazy when we're getting trolled like that. Like, that's just weird stuff in the don't click it, guys, because I don't know what it'll do to your computer or whatever. I never click any of that stuff. You never know what it'll do. From what has strangled and from sexual immorality, if you keep yourself from these, you will do well. Farewell, tools. Act 1530. So when they, I would love to read the rest of that. Yeah, and so I think that if people were able to abstain from like sexual sin all through the Bible, right? This place would be a paradise. I think that's the main focus of what's going wrong. And there's no wrenches. I thought Clutch had one. It's all right. I could do it. I could do it. I don't know why I'm being so lazy. Okay, let's see here. Block, 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 block. Uh-oh, something just happened. Let me see here. Block user. I don't know. Something happened. Did it do anything? I don't know. Oh, you took care of it? Good, 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 good. Yeah, yeah, go ahead and get rid. I think I blocked her accidentally. So go ahead and delete her again. I don't know. I think I did something messed up. Sweet, 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 sweet. Yeah, yeah, Clutch is good. And so, yeah, our diet has a lot to do with we, of course, taking in all this poison and all this crazy witchcraft, right? And all these images from TV and all that stuff. But so much stuff is a variable in our life, right? Well, it's time to hit the old dusty trail. I love you guys, man. Especially these small groups, man, have been awesome, man. Like, I would prefer this much more than having double that in fights and all that. Yeah, I think the chat does matter because it gives us a chance to reset, right? And to like be able to go back out in that world again, crazy, right? And I don't know, man. I'm proud of you guys, man. I mean, by far, this is like the best part of my day. And whoever's been praying for me to get rest, thank you so much because I have been sleeping like a log, man. Better than ever. And so I just want to say I'm grateful for that. So praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. And all glory to God, and pray for the children. I'll see you guys later. God bless you. Hold on a second, I'm coming. Hold on a second, I'm coming.